So I just cleaned that up. What do you think? Well, look, I don't know. I mean, I just use brake clean. I don't know what else to use. Should I mean, well, that's not what that is. I just told No, I told you that's not what that does. What do you think it is? I don't know. Oh, hey, look, don't get mad at me, okay? I'm just trying to replace the oil in this thing. Hey, I'm doing my best here, all right? Hey, welcome back to my series where I'm fixing my grandfathers, and now my 601 Workmaster diesel tractor by Ford. Now, in the previous video, we focused on getting some of the parts cleaned, taking off some of the body panels, and just kind of cleaning things up, finding errors in the tractor. And one of the things we found at the end there was the hydraulic system. It was having some issues. So with that, let's go ahead and get started and show the process of fixing the hydraulic system. It was quite a journey. So let's get started. Okay, I'm going to take a look now at the hydraulic port to see what it looks like on the inside. I pulled the dipstick and I'm a little bit nervous. I saw a video of a guy checking his hydraulic oil on Facebook and it looked like chocolate milk. And looks pretty good. It looked a little bit milky a second ago, so we'll see. I think I gotta pull this guy off. I think some of that gunk off, just so I don't get anything in there. Oh, there we go. Okay. I'm a bit nervous about that. Let's see what it looks like on the inside. Alright, I got the tractor on. Okay, so knowing what I've seen here, I mean, two things. It's low, and it looks a bit chocolate milky. That might be water. That might be water. Okay, let's do this. So first thing we're gonna have to do is take this seat off. Oh wow, that is on there. Well, what? If it's not 5/8, what is it? No? Oh, there we go. Alright. Alright. Ooh, that's warm. Oh, ow. Oh, God. Ow. Got it loose, though. There's a cat. Now, stop. So, fun fact, I don't know whose cat this is. Or like a feral cat. All right, we'll pull that off. I think I'm just going to go ahead and screw those back on. Time to go around now and undo these bolts. Time to go around and PV blaster these bolts. Alrighty. Get rid of that wire. Get rid of the brake control levers, if I can. Maybe let's work on the draft control arm. Alright, here's the control arm. Let's see if we can get this guy off. Actually, have you ever tried to film and work on a tractor at the same time? That makes this infinitely more difficult. Honey, how did you get PB Blaster all over your pants? Well, I had to get a good shot. Maybe I'll try to just You know what? Maybe I gotta remove these. Oh. Alright, there's one. Oh. Oh, it slots out. Okay. Technically, you should be able to rotate it like that. Okay. Whew. That needs some love. And there we go. Now we can go in with our screwdriver and kind of help pry this thing out. The hard thing is that these are made out of aluminum. These original ones are made out of aluminum. So it may be difficult to get it off the shaft. Okay, the camera's got to move. All right, I'm gonna hit it with some heat. Okay, finally, after giving it some heat and giving it a little bit of elbow grease, finally able to take this darn thing off. Be a little careful. Be careful because there's a key. There's our piece. It's keyed like that. Go ahead and clean this gasket off. I don't think that key is coming out anytime soon for now, so we'll see. There's going to be some looseness in there, but I'm not sure yet. All right, now we have to remove the draft control arm pins. This project has been brought to you by Tetanus Shots. Luckily, I am up to date because I accidentally stabbed my hand with a pair of tweezers a few months ago, and they said it might be safe just to go ahead and get a tetanus shot. Okay, there's your pins. Come on. Okay. One. Need a bigger hammer. By a hammer, I mean a wrench. Oh, that's nuts. Okay. Pin number 2. All right, I got all but one pulled out. Set them in a little pattern here. I've got the little rough diagram there that you can't quite see, but this will help me put it back. All right. Whew. Okay. It's time to see if we can take this guy off. Okay, I got it. Okay, here we go. Okay, so like the thing said, I watched a video on this. can't have it lift up to avoid damaging stuff. Okay, that is a heavy piece. All right, I can't get a good video of this. Oh my gosh, it's like, this gotta be like 50 to 75 pounds. Oh, that's cool. Check that out. See where the linkage here for the PTO. We have our differential connector kind of there, drive shaft that goes to the differential. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna replace the O-rings around here when I get a chance. I gotta scrape off all this stuff, get all the gunk out. That's a shame there with the bolt. That's a shame there with the bolt that got stripped. So when I drain this thing, I'll probably go in with some brake clean and clean everything up. See, like, I don't know what some of that is. See, that's real gooey. It's like putty almost. I'm not sure what's causing it. Seems to be like deposits and stuff on the side here. I'm not sure what it is. Looks like there's a little bit of rust too on this main shaft. So I guess this did get some water in it, I think. So I'm gonna need to clean it up and take out some of the stuff. Man, this is rough. I need to make sure I cover this up properly, but got some work ahead of me. Okay, so it's approximately 51 degrees. I am freezing. Not literally, it's not 32 degrees. But I'm gonna start to try to drain the hydraulic system of its oil. So I've got a little bucket here. I'm gonna uncover that because I had covered it up to keep it safe from all the rain and stuff that might have came through. And yeah, let's do it. Okay. You can see what I'm supposed to be seeing. Okay, that's the right one. Here we go. That is gonna be tough, especially since it hasn't been open in a while. Helped a little bit, maybe. Man, that is on there. Basically what I ended up doing was something kind of dumb. I was like, you know what, screw it, let's get the pipe wrench, and I was able to get it broken loose. Probably not a really smart thing to do, as I could have stripped it, but it worked, and I didn't really know what else to do. I couldn't really heat it up, and so oh my gosh.
And it all starts with that creamy milk chocolate.
The chocolate is put into a mixer, which we call a conge, and in there it's mixed and mixed with more cocoa butter, and that creates that creamy milk chocolate.
Something tells me that ain't it. Oh God, I really hope I have a big enough pan. All right, there we go. It was big enough. And the funny thing is that I placed the knob somewhere and I can't seem to find where it is. After looking at the footage, it appears, yep, that I've placed it inside the bucket with all the good sludge. Okay, so I'm not 100% sure what to do. I think I might have to, I don't know if I need to put some brake clean in there or something, but that is gunked. I don't know if you can see that. I mean, that is just sludge in there. Wow. That's not great. All right, off to Tractor Supply to get more brake clean. I don't really know what I'm doing here, but get up under the... Wait, that is... But onward we go. So, most of the sludge is getting gone. Oh man. So a lot more clean. The walls are pretty clean. Down there is a little dirty. Got to get down there a little more, I think. But yeah, mostly clean. Mostly some of the gunk and stuff. Get some of that out, but most of it's clean now, and I think I feel a little more comfortable putting fresh oil in here after getting this last little bit out. Okay, so now it's time to play a nice game of Operation. Okay, so we have our system broken down, and I'm looking for that particular pin that was mentioned in that. Oh my gosh, it is worn out. It's totally no freaking way. Okay. Ooh, oh man, that's about to drip all over my... This episode has been brought to you by Sparkle Paper Towels. Not really, but Sparkle Paper Towels. Before we actually jump into the hydraulic system, if you need to replace this pin that gets worn out, I believe it's called the draft control pin or something along those lines. If you're trying to replace this, I'm going to give you a heads up. It might be extremely difficult. This was the hardest thing to replace on this entire hydraulic system, for me at least. I've seen videos on YouTube that make it look really easy of just hitting it out with a hammer and a punch, or maybe just hitting it out with a hammer normally. And this did not work. This did not come out. I had to end up drilling it out. I tried many different things. I first tried to press it out using a clamp. I tried hitting it out, of course, with a punch like normal. I tried using a brake clamp, a brake line press clamp type thing to try to push it out. Tried using an automatic punch to get that out, give it a little bit of instant force, and it still didn't work. None of it worked. And I even tried to drill it out with a regular drill bit. Too hard. It's hardened steel. I tried drilling it out with a masonry bit. That also didn't work, so I decided to just pull it out. Okay, so I've got this off the end. It basically went spring, washer, nut. Put those over there. And does this not want to come out? I think this... Alright. Pulled that pin out of that nut. Nice. Okay, so I'm going to use this handle to hold this rod so that the nut that you can barely kind of see doesn't twist. Which is attached to this piece, and that allows me to get access to this, hopefully. We'll see. Alright, so now that I got that nut out, let's do it with one hand, but alright. Our first guy out. So there's the just sort of offset pin. Then I have to figure out how I'm going to get the rest of this out. Okay, so now I have access to this guy, and I should be able to pop this out and get this guy off. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so I got it off. Now I can focus on getting that stupid pin out of this stupid arm and see if I could just get it on the concrete and hit it out with a hammer and a punch that way. That also didn't work. I had to use a special glass and masonry, I guess, bit that I had just on hand. I think it's a Bosch bit or something like that. But that was hard enough to be able to cut through the old pin that was in here. And I was finally able to get it out, as you can see here. And I can now put this new one in. I think I need to put this in the freezer, and then I'll tamp this guy back in. But yeah, it's going to be very difficult. So be prepared for that. Okay, we're back and it's in. You would not believe the nonsense I had to do to get this to go in. So I went ahead and went to my father-in-law's little shop that he has over a little ways over from our house. And I had to basically take a little round file and file that hole out just a little bit and ever so slightly. And then I was able to press it in using his vise. And it ended up working. This was a pain in the butt to get in. So if it doesn't work your first time, you might have to do this.
Oh, got it. Finally. Oh.
Okay, worked on getting some of this cleaned. Starting to loosen this guy, clean up inside here. Okay. Okay. Got our piece here. Off the top. A little gunk in there. That is green. I do not know what that means. Why is that thread? Okay, time to flip it and get more stuff everywhere. Okay. Flipping to the other side now. Okay. Those are pretty loose. Now we just pull this guy off. Looks like there is a gasket material there. We got this guy. Now, from the diagram, it appears that this actually might be the piece that shifts it in between the different tubes to these different things. These feel very well machined. I mean, these things are slick. Okay. This is our piece. It should help with the hydraulic valves. Okay, so looks like that doesn't connect to anything. Okay. Try not to ruin this gasket material, but apparently there's a hole I can blow into that would pop this guy out. Looks like the inside of the cylinder is not pitted, but right at the edge here looks like it has a little bit of rust on it on the inside. So that's not great. It does look like there's quite a bit of rust on the outside of this too. Well, that doesn't want to come off. Nope. Okay, let's try something. Okay, so I don't have an air compressor here at my house. I do have this tire pump. I guess this is technically an air compressor, but so maybe we'll see. You're finding out along with me. Well, kind of in the future. Will this work? One of these holes. I was told. It's working! Oh my gosh, it's working. Look, watch. Yes! Oh my gosh. I'm a freaking genius. Oh my gosh. Yes! Look at that. And there is the hydraulic piston ring. Piston ring. I just said I'm a genius and I called it by its wrong name. The hydraulic cylinder head, I guess. You know what? I'm just gonna stop that whole genius thing right now, and I'm just gonna. Oh my gosh! I can't believe it. I can't believe that. Well, I can't believe it worked, but oh, I'm so happy that it worked. Is it supposed to be flat like that? I feel like it's not supposed to be flat like that. Let's look in the goodie box here. All right. Got the backup ring and the O-ring here, which will correspond to that little white one and that big one. I'm not sure if that's why, but I wouldn't be surprised given how worn it is. I'm gonna be careful and try to, oh, come on. Now, I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I have no clue how to get that backup ring on. Please feel free to subscribe. It's gonna help me buy new pants eventually one day. Okay, so let's do a comparison. We have our old O-ring. See how it's kind of flat. And this one is nice and round. So that'll probably definitely help. There I go again. Now, this backup ring, to be honest, I'm not too sure how I'm gonna get this thing off. I'm not really sure what material this is either. Okay, so let's remember that the white is closest to the opening. Okay, it's pretty easy to break, so gotta remember that. That's fascinating how they do that. Oh, there we go. Look at those grooves. I guess that's where the oil's supposed to kind of help lubricate it, maybe? Leave a comment, that'd be great to know what that is, what that does. Do I gotta heat it up with like... There's gotta be a way to do this. I'm gonna have to look this up. Okay, I don't know how to get this backup ring on. Yeah, I'm not sure. So I'm going to consult with the internet. Okay, so I pulled out this lift cover repair kit for the Ford tractors there, and they have another O-ring in there. That was this one, and they had a leather ring. Now, the hydraulic video that I'll post in the description has a leather ring for the backup ring, but the one that I just pulled off was one of these plastic ones. I'm not entirely sure how I'm supposed to get this over the piston. I can't seem to find anything online, so I'm going to see if I can maybe heat this up with a little bit of water. And I'm also going to soak this in a little bit of hot water, I think, as well, just to make it a little bit more pliable. So yeah, let's do that. There we go, nice. Now we just need to add in either the backup O-ring, so this plastic one, or the leather one. I'm not 100% sure. We'll see. Honestly, it might be easier to do the leather one first. I tried to put this O-ring in like hot water to see if maybe it's some kind of special plastic. No. I think I'm going to go ahead and cut this ring. I'm going to cut this ring similar to this and see how it fits onto this ring. Because there's no way that's fitting on there, right? There's like no way I can try to... Yeah, there's no way. I'm going to have to cut it. I went ahead and I cut the backer here in sort of a slant motion, how I've seen it done online, and now we can fit that on. But see, the issue that I have now is it doesn't fill the whole thing. I feel like I'm just better off putting the old one back on. I mean, looking at it, I'm going to try to clean up this old one. And I just don't feel comfortable using the leather one. Okay, so leave a comment if this is totally the wrong way I should be going about doing this. But I'm going to use the old O-ring. All the backer rings that I've seen online have a little slit on them. I mean, they have a leather one that came with the Steiner one. A little leather one that I've had soaking for a little bit. But I just don't see this lasting as long as a plastic one. Maybe that's just the modernity in me, but okay. Let's get our O-ring on. I feel like that's okay. I mean, it's got a little slit in it, but what I was reading online says it might be okay. All right, time to get this bad boy back in. Let's try. Alright, maybe I actually should have lubricated some. Oh God. Okay. I was told to be warned about something like that.
Now when you do this, the piston's going to shoot out pretty fast, so just make sure that the direction of your piston coming out isn't going to do any damage to another person or something else that's in your shop.
Luckily, I've only got a wood floor, so we're good. Make sure there's no dirt on it. And the cylinder is nice and smooth, except for that place right there. There's rust right at the bottom, and that's because when the cylinder is laying in the tractor, it's laying like this. So that tells me whenever the hydraulic oil got a little bit of water in it, it pooled there at the bottom, and it just rusted. But I don't think the cylinder goes that far anyway. It goes that far back anyway. But if it does, so lubricate our cylinder. So I'm just gonna get some of that. Gotta lube up our piston because I just want to make sure it slides in nice and easy. Okay. Got it. I've already done that. Ow, I did it again. Ugh. All right, so we got to get this guy back in. So what I'm gonna do is try not to drop it into this thing of oil. I'm going to, ooh, yeah, that is precision machined. Like, oh, that's so cool. Okay. All right. And now we've got these little O-rings that we have to take a look at now. Okay, now we'll take a look at these O-rings and pull these little guys out. Okay. So we can say this piece is done. This cylinder has been cleaned. We've replaced the O-ring in it, and we have all the little O-rings in here. So this guy should be good. I might be able to take a look at this relief valve, but I'm probably not going to take it off. All right, that's all the O-rings out. Now let's clean it up. Okay, nice and mostly clean. Let's get the O-rings on. Alrighty, and there you have it. All of the O-rings are in. So these are done, and we'll set this aside. Okay, so I'm back. Did it work? Well, no, the video's not over yet. So yeah, it didn't work. I put everything together, I turned it on, moved the lever, it went up, but as soon as it got to the position that it needed to, it started shaking violently, quite a bit. And I didn't know what was going on. I checked around online, I did some more research, I bought a borescope, stuck it in to see if I could see anything, and everything kind of seemed to point towards some of the check valves or the unloading valve in that sort of cylinder area where all the valves are. So of course, you know what that means. I had to pull it off and see if I could focus my fixing efforts on that section. So let's jump into that. Okay, I got some fine threaded bolts from the store, and we're gonna see if we can't get the unloading valve to move around. All right. Plates, that's spring. We now have to work on this guy, and that's where this guy comes in. So it was either a 3/4, nope, a 1/2 inch. Yeah, that works. All right, so this is a 1/2 inch by 20 thread, fine threaded bolt. I didn't know how long I was going to need it, so ended up doing a pretty big one. All right, let's see here. I saw a video, I'll leave a link in the description, where a guy did something kind of like this. Let's see if it'll work. I put 2 nuts on either side of it. I'll move those in a sec, but ever so slightly on the threads there. Okay, so hindsight is 2020. I'm going to go ahead and address this before y'all address it in the comments. Instead of doing it this way and putting all of the force on the threads of the bushing itself, I really should have just held the bolt in place with that ratchet and taken a wrench and turned the nut instead. That would have put all the force, or a majority of the force, on the nut itself, not on the threads of the bushing, and making those threads work to get it out. And there we go. Alright, so initially, here's the bushing, and now it's bushing glory. We have like a screwdriver or something to ever so slightly push up. All right, there is the unloading valve, and then of course the O-ring. The O-ring looks pretty flat. O-ring looks flat, and we've got these flat pieces here. Let's take a look in the inside here and see what we got. Alright, that's enough for one night. Got it all wrapped up and greased up. Looks like I cut my hand too by accident. But I think I'm just gonna have to wait for Steiner to get another O-ring, or try to find another O-ring online to see if I can replace that, and also see if that valve is actually supposed to look that way. If not, I'm gonna have to find a new one as well to get that installed. So that'll be interesting. Okay, so I was watching a video. So basically what he said he did was insert it into the thing without the O-ring and move it back and forth until there's really no resistance. So I don't think that's the issue. I'm going to keep that O-ring. The O-ring's definitely been flattened out, so we'll need to replace that. I got to go ahead and order another one through Steiner, because I cannot find which one of these is the actual O-ring for that. I get to spend another 20 bucks on it. Okay, so this could either be fast or slow. We got a new gasket set from Steiner. We're gonna see if we can find the unloading valve O-ring. The person I talked to said that they had the O-ring. That's what they had in the kit. So we'll see if that's the case. And I also picked up some cotter pins, 116 by 34 inch cotter pins to replace the one that I had right there. So I'll insert this and we should be good to go. I'll just bend these down and we're good. So on the front of the lift cover, there is a little plug that has the check valve and the back pressure valve inside. I went ahead and pulled out the front little check valve area to check and see if the ball was good, the little valve was good, and I couldn't get the internal part out. I didn't have a long enough fine thread bolt, so I decided to just put everything back together, and I would look at it at a later date since it would have been easy to open up since it's on the outside of the tractor. Okay, so here is our $8 O-ring. That's right. Here's the part number for it. I'll put a link in the description below to this part number, but here is the supposed O-ring that goes onto the unloading valve. All right, got the old O-ring off. Looks to be a match. Let's see. First, let's probably grease it up with a little bit of fluid, and I mean, it's a little loose. Not gonna lie, it's a little loose, but hoping that will be good enough. So let's go ahead and get this thing installed. Everything nice and lubed up here. We'll insert it. Housing. It feels tight, but it feels movable, like not terribly tight, like to the point to where it wouldn't move. Okay, so the bushing has been tapped back in. It's nice and flush. Now it's time to put everything back together how it was, and we can get to testing hopefully and see if we have fixed the problem. A little bit of lube in there. Get our spring in. Get our plate on. Maybe get some of our bolts in here. Get this put on. So hopefully that $8 O-ring helps. $8 versus the 12 I paid for Steiner's O-rings. Good there, I think. All right, now the only other question is, do I try to do anything with the valve that was in the front here, the valve in here? I'm going to be hesitant to say yes. All right, make sure I do this right. Gotta go spring, push thing, and we go the actual valve itself. So let's get this installed. We gotta put it in at this bottom part under here. So it'll be interesting. We'll see if I can get that in. Okay, I've got it all propped up. Now it's time to install. So we've got our valve here. The valve's actually inside here. That's the little ball in here. Take this. I need to push this. Okay, so I tapped that guy back in. And then now we'll put the plug back on. Be good to go. 11/16 wrench on this guy. And we're good to go. So I think this is ready to go back onto the tractor. As the old saying goes, if you don't have a cherry picker, you get to become the cherry picker. Corners are burning. Alright, lift with your back in a sharp jerking motion. Let's see. Oh! Now be careful here. Okay. 1 foot on box plate, 1 foot. It doesn't have a light in it. Okay. Remember, kids, just buy the right tools. Position. cut to 50 years from now, well, I wonder why I have back problems.
Back pain can be caused by a multitude of reasons.
Like, oh, my back hurts. It's like, you think? All right, let's get these bolts on. By the power of movie magic. Good deal? Definitely. If you look real closely, you'll see that I am not actually putting these down to the torque spec. And Landon, why don't you read the manual? Well, I don't have a torque wrench. Okay, now we're going to see if we can actually get. Let's see if we can actually get. Yes! Let's go. Freaking go. It worked. Oh, it worked. It worked for the most part. For the most part. There's some problems with it though. Yes. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm so happy. Okay. So I got it working. I can finally use my tractor again, but there are some caveats. The issue with the tractor now is that it sort of shimmies when I'm raising the implement. Now I've done some research and they say that that's caused by air bubbles that got into the hydraulic pump while I was changing everything out. So I think I'm gonna have to open that purge valve on top of the pump and let some of those air bubbles out. I think that should fix it. The other thing is I think once I changed the pivot pin, it changed the linkage distance to the valve. So I'm gonna need to change and adjust that linkage to get it to work properly for the full extension of the lever. I can only use it about halfway before I feel that valve bottoming out. Also, the draft control doesn't work, but I'm gonna have to buy a new arm inside there with a new spring for that, but I'm not going to focus on that until maybe the springtime, fixing those issues. When it all heats up, I'll take it off and then focus on it then. Now, in this next video, I'm going to hope to work on the gauges and the electronics in the main part there of the tractor. I asked for some gauges and stuff, the tachometer for Christmas, so hopefully I'll have those here shortly to be able to work on. And once I buy a little sand blaster, I'll probably focus on getting some of the parts painted and cleaned up, and then we'll work on that. But I'm really happy with the hydraulics now. They're working mostly, and I shouldn't have much more else to do on that side. So if you want to see one of my previous videos, feel free to click one of these little boxes here. But if you want to leave a little bit of wisdom or some guidance on what I should do next or what things I should or shouldn't have done, go ahead and leave that in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Okay, gonna be careful about doing that. I think I'm good. I think we're good. Oh God, okay.